Yo, what's up? It's Invidious, bringing you guys another Path of Diablo video on my Bowazon. And ever since my last build video on this character, I read a lot of the comments and decided to change the build to something more physical instead of using Freezing Arrow and Immolation Arrow, just because I don't have the Hand of Justice and Ice Rune Word or something like Chains of Honor, which is so costly this early on in the ladder. I mean, it's only like 3 weeks in, and since I'm using Wind Force and Fortitude, I figured I'd go with Guided Arrow and Multishot. And at the time of my last video, I didn't know that the skill Phase Run really increased your damage that much, but this time I decided to max it out, and let me just show you the damage difference that I'm getting. So Guided Arrow right now without Phase Run on is nearly 6.8, and then I put on Phase Run and now I'm getting 8.4. And then you could also use an Act 5 Mercenary, which would bring up your damage to about 9,000 at a max, which is pretty good for a Bowazon. Especially, I mean, like in vanilla, this build would probably not be viable at all. So let me just go over the gear right now, because that's what really makes this build work. You would not be like doing any damage without Fortitude and Wind Force. And the end goal here is to get a Wind Force with like corrupted 6 sockets with like all shells or increased attack speed and enhanced damage jewels. And then I'm using Gulliums for the crushing blow, and I put a Tal rune in it just because I needed the poison resistance at the time. But now that I found this Carrion Wind ring, I'm probably going to change it up since this gives poison resist, and probably put like an increased attack speed jewel in here. And then I got High Lords. I got a Ravenfrost ring, definitely need this. I got Nosferatu's coil. I got Laying of Hands. The end goal here is to get like a rare glove which has 2 to passive skills, some resistances, and some increased attack speed, but this is just what I got right now. I got Goblin Toe corrupted with 20 lightning res, and this is really just used for the 25% crushing blow. You could go with something like Gore Riders, but I personally prefer this because it's more affordable and it's got better crushing blow on it, which you'll see really helps when I'm trying to kill mobs like Diablo. And then I got these arrows right here, which really helped me out with resistances, and got 1-2 bow and crossbow skills. I got a torch down here, and then I got some resistance jewels and some passive and magic grand charms. I got a couple other grand charms here, but the end goal would be to switch these to passive and magic skills, and I'll show you why you would want something like that in a bit, because most of the skills that you're using are in passive and magic. The only bow skills you're using are Guided Arrow and Multishot, so that's just why you'd want to have something like passive and magic skill grand charms instead. And then, you know, I could probably just get rid of these and put like cold resist charms once I get them, because I'm not maxing cold resist, but I have pretty fine survivability right now, especially for a Bowazon. So let me go into the stats that I'm using. So you only need to put enough points into multiple shot to where you're getting a good arrow spread. And for me, it was 12 points, and then I got another 7 points from the gear I'm wearing. Because yeah, if you just max multiple shot, it's really not worth it, because you're not getting that much damage increase. And do you really need like 30 arrows firing out? I would disagree. And then definitely max Guided Arrow, because you keep getting damage increase as you level that up. And then most of your skills are in passive and magic, so definitely max Phase Run for the increased damage, increased walk speed, and faster hit recovery. The only downside to the skill is you have to keep remembering to turn it on every 16 seconds. My suggestion to Green Dude would be to just make this last a lot longer, especially if I'm maxing it. You know, I would say 30 seconds is pretty fair, because constantly having to remember to use it is super annoying, and then you need to keep surviving. And I got a ton of life leech on this build, so sometimes I can't take the time to, you know, switch weapons just to put on Phase Run. But that's enough about Phase Run. Then I put enough points into Lethal Strike and Pierce to where I'm only getting like 1 more percentage per skill point I put into it. But I'm getting some pretty good Pierce and Lethal Strike right now on this build. And then I just put all the rest of my points into Penetrate, since you really don't have anything else to put your extra points into, and you need that attack rating for multiple shot. Even right now, I'm not at the greatest attack rating for it. But with something like Guided Arrow, I guess attack rating doesn't matter. And then for my attributes right here, Just put enough strength into strength where you're able to wear everything, and then put enough into vitality to where you're getting about 1,000 life, and then everything else goes into dexterity because you need that attack rating. But let me just show you guys how this build works. We're gonna go kill Eldritch, and as you can see, he got annihilated pretty quickly. And in vanilla Diablo 2, it would be a lot harder, and the survivability would also be a lot worse for this build. But I'm pretty satisfied with how this build is working. The only problem is, like, those Thorn Hulks, I mean, they got a lot of HP, and it's kind of hard. It takes a while to take them down. And when you're in an 8-person game, you're really not doing a lot of damage at all. But if you're just trying to do, like, Pindleskin, Shank, and Eldritch runs, like, this build just completely wipes through those bosses. Now I'm going to show you guys me killing Diablo. We're going to see how long it takes to do the Chaos Sanctuary. Obviously, you could probably do it faster than me because I'm not that good at the game, and I'm going to be talking this whole time, so I'm kind of going to be, like, distracted by that, just trying to talk to you guys, keep the video entertaining. But let's just see how it works. So another thing I want to go over is the Mercenary. So a lot of people would suggest using something like a Lawbringer Act 5 Merc, but I would disagree. I mean, I've tried it, but you really don't need to have a Mercenary that breaks physical immunities, because with this build, I actually have 1 point into Magic Arrow, and even having 1 point into Magic Arrow does a good enough amount of damage to physical immunes, and there's really not a lot of physical immunes in this game. So I don't currently have, like, a good Merc on this character, just because, you know, it like, what I would want to do is have an Act 1 Mercenary with Faith, so I could get, like, the Fanaticism aura, or like an Act 5 Merc so I could get the Might aura, and then have him have, like, a really powerful weapon like Breath of the Dying or Death or something, or something that gives Fanaticism 2. I think that rune word that gives Fanaticism is like Fury or something. But yeah, that's just what I would personally go with, but I don't have it right now just because it's just so costly to have a rune word like that, and I'm only like 3 weeks into the ladder. But that's just my opinion on the Mercenary. It's not really vital to your build like it would be on an elemental build. And I prefer this build a lot more than Immolation Arrow, like an Immolation Arrow and Freezing Arrow build, just because you don't have to constantly switch the skill you're using based on the enemies you're facing. And if I was using a build like that, Chaos Sanctuary would just be so annoying, having to constantly switch your weapon between cold and fire immunes. Another downside to this build, as you can see, they cast those, like, Oblivion Knights or whatever or Doom Knights. I don't know which one casts it, but I think it's the Oblivion Knights that cast the curses. But when you get amplified damage or Decrepify on you, it really hurts you, especially Decrepify, because it lowers your increased attack speed by a lot. So that's pretty annoying. And whenever you have these curses on you, you really just got to make sure to stay back. Bone Weave Boots. What is that? That's that's a decent one. I know that. I know it's like a good Necromancer one. Marowak, yeah. It's pretty good. Didn't expect anything during this video, but we'll see. Hopefully you can get something good from Diablo. Now, this build does not tear through chaos runs like a Whirlwind Barb would, or like just any other really insane build, but I can get through it fine, and I got good survivability. But now, you know, I'm facing the physical immune, and he's got Mana Burn, which is super annoying. But let me just show you how Magic Arrow works. So I don't have the greatest attack rating, but that kind of fucked him up pretty hard, especially considering I only have 1 point into Magic Arrow. Gotta keep remembering to switch to Phase Run. And let me go over this since I haven't already. I'm using the Zephyr rune word as my switch to use Phase Run. It gives you 3 to Phase Run, so if you need to run a little faster, you can just switch to that and maneuver around. But I just like having a secondary to use Phase Run, so that way I'm only pressing one button to change what's in my hot bar down here. Because if I wasn't using the Zephyr rune word on my Switch, I'd have to press like F3 and then I'd have to press F2 back to get to multi-shot, and I just don't like doing that because I'm a lazy person. Another thing that makes this build really work is all the life leech that you get. So I'm using Carrion Wind Ring, which you could switch out for something else if you're getting enough life leech from other things that you're wearing. I mean, I just found a Carrion Wing, so I wanted to see how it worked. I think I can use this for crafting. But yeah, the mana leech on Wind Force helps a lot. You definitely need that. And then I got a couple other items here that give me life leech, such as Nosferatu's. So just make sure you have good life and mana leech, or else this build might not work for you. A lot of mobs right here. But as you can see, I just keep firing multi-shot, and I don't really have to worry about the damage I'm taking because I'm getting so much life leech. Alright, now it's time to kill Diablo. So now since I have so much Crushing Blow, this character actually kills Diablo probably faster than my Whirlwind Full Immortal King's Barbarian. His Lightning Breath will really hurt you, though, so just gotta make sure. Just gotta watch out for that. So I killed him pretty quick, but I did miss a lot of my shots. So if you can get more attack rating, then I would probably suggest that. But I think I did pretty good for a Bowazon, honestly. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have anything, any suggestions about this build that you'd like to leave in the comment section, I'm definitely open to them. I read all the comments. But thank you guys for sticking with me for this long video, and hopefully this build helped you guys out who are trying to build like a decent Bowazon. I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable person, but hopefully I was able to help out at least someone with their Bowazon. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I post Path of Diablo videos pretty often, so if you want to see some more, then definitely subscribe, and I'll see you guys later in my next video if you are subscribed. Thank you. Peace.